Hi, my name is Elise and I am a pre-certified coach in training with IPEC. IPEC is an approved school with the ICF, which is the International Coaching Federation. ICF is the governing body of professional coaches around the world. I'm going to be talking with you, sharing with you what my coaching journey has been so far. I started this process in February of 2019 when I went away for a mini retreat. I went away on the retreat because I was trying to figure out what I wanted with my life. I was feeling some sense of dissatisfaction, but I didn't know why. I didn't know what was causing it, and I wanted to understand. So after talking to my husband about it, I booked a hotel room in town and I stepped away from my home life and I went to the hotel with a bunch of journals and video recording stuff and just anything that I thought would help me figure out what was going on in my headspace. So that weekend was a transformative weekend for me. I went from being very, very unclear with what I wanted to understanding what I was being called to do. Went to college when I was older, and I graduated in December of 2015, and with a bachelor's degree in business administration, and just thought that that was it. That was what I wanted. Even though I knew before I started that degree that there was a part of me that really, really wanted to help people in a different way, I made a decision. I had to choose, and I chose to go the bachelor's degree with business in order to accomplish what I thought at that time were my goals. So by February of 2019, I had relocated with my family. I had re-entered the workforce. I was working in corporate America again and using my degree as an analyst with a global medical device company. And I really love my job. I love what I do. I love taking care of the people that I take care of. There's a lot of variety to what I do. I have a lot of systems administration access, and I get to do a lot of very interesting things. And so I really felt like that was it, and I enjoyed it, but I was dissatisfied, and I couldn't figure out why. What it came down to was that I was doing what I was really good at and what I really enjoyed, but I wasn't doing what I was being called to do. And when I say that I was being called to something, what I really mean is that there's a higher purpose for me. I know that. I knew that when I started the bachelor's degree, and I essentially ignored the voice in my head and in my heart. And it took that retreat for me to finally get clarity around ignoring that voice, ignoring what was inside of me, and choosing a practical path. So here I sat at the end of my retreat, understanding what I was supposed to be doing and needing to go back to my husband and talk to him about a path change, what that was going to mean. I took about a week or so after that where I gave him just really general information. And then I invited him out on a date for lunch. And I let him know that I was ready to share with him what I got out of the retreat and what I wanted to do. And so we went and we sat down and we ordered drinks. And then I started unpacking it for him and sharing with him what I got out of the retreat, what that would mean for me, that would mean for us as a couple. And I laid out, I had the time to think through what could be done to accomplish it. And so I laid out a possible plan of action to help me reach the place that I felt like I needed to go. And after we discussed a great deal of the details and the practicality around it, he bought into how saw where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. And so my journey toward professional coaching started because that's where I felt like I was being called to do. I had at one point in time considered the possibility of becoming a counselor. That would mean that I would go to medical school and I would study clinical psychology, and I would end up as a clinical psychologist and become a counselor and a therapist. But that didn't really resonate with me because I did not feel called to help people deal with their past problems and get to the root of things, which is what a counselor does. I really felt called to stay in the present and help people move forward with positive actions that they could do to accomplish their goals. And I didn't have a full understanding at that point of coaching, but that was essentially what I later found out coaching is. And so I started my investigative process. And while I was investigating, we were also beginning the process of doing the things that we had identified we would need to do to put ourselves in a financial situation in order for me to pursue this calling. So I spent from February of 2019 to May of 2019 laying out some steps for us financially, and we began the next part of our journey, which was changing our living circumstances. And by that I meant we started working on our house, getting it ready to be put on the market. We started looking at land that we wanted to purchase so that we could have something much smaller than what we were in built, and looking at all of the financial options that we had in order to pay down debt and decrease our outload every month so that I could go back to school and I could get certified as a professional coach, and at the same time bear the student loans that I had from my degree with business administration. Because that was really the kicker, is that I have a student loan debt that needed to be able to be paid on while I was pursuing this other path that wouldn't immediately necessarily net me a revenue stream. So from February to May, we worked on those plans, and in May we signed a contract. We signed a contract for land and purchased land, and we signed a contract to have a home built, which took another 6 months or so after that before it was ready to be occupied. And in that time frame, I continued to investigate schools and programs and paths and what I wanted to do exactly. And then in December of 2019, we moved and we also put our house on the market. Our home sold within 3 days. It technically sold within 2, but the contract was signed on the 3rd day. We did have multiple offers on our home. And by that point, we had already moved into our new place. And so we were able to get it all ready for the new homeowners of that place and get everything situated so that when I was ready to move on to choosing a school, I was ready. And that's what I did. I investigated a number of different programs and ended up choosing IPEC. And I chose IPEC because I felt like of all of the options out there, and there are some really, really good programs out there, all of the options that were out there, I resonated the most with what I saw with IPEC. I felt like it had the greatest reach, the biggest scope of a program, and the most versatility for what I wanted to do going into the future. And so I enrolled, paid my first set of tuition, and I got started. I attended my first module and I loved it. 30 hours of intensive, action-packed, thoughtful training that transformed my thinking. And I'm on that journey right now. I am between the first and the second module, doing my coaching practice, working on finding clients to coach, both as practice and then as also paying clients as well. And so once you're done with module 1, you are free to start accepting paying clients because you're far enough along to already be equipped with a viable set of tools to allow you to do that. And so that's where I'm at right now. I've also built a website, started marketing, created a business Facebook page, all of the things that go into getting started with a new business. Now, I am still working in my corporate America job as an analyst, and I am still enjoying it. I do know that that's not going to long-term be my scope of what I do, But for now, I'm extremely grateful that I both have a job that's providing a weekly, biweekly paycheck, and I'm also having the opportunity to set up my new business. This is really important because it allows me to defray some of the startup expenses, and that has been extremely helpful. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with my journey. I'm on this journey of learning, exploring, growing, and I'm absolutely loving it. And I look forward to getting an opportunity down the road as I move further into the program to share other things with you. If you have any questions, drop me a line through an email, and I look forward to being able to interact with you in some way, shape, or form down the road.